wherever you are, and I'm sending all the blessings there is to you right now where you are. Okay, someone say they're waiting patiently, okay, for this great teaching today concerning how we are to program or train our subconscious mind to live a rich and fulfilling life on this planet. Well, the very first thing I want to mention is that growing up, I didn't know anything about the subconscious mind. I had absolutely any knowledge about the subconscious mind, about how the subconscious mind works. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know that there was such a thing as the conscious and the subconscious mind. Also, I was not aware of the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system and how they really works. Moreover, I was not aware of the mind and how the mind works. As a matter of fact, I was not even aware of how the mind is connected to the rest of nature. Like, for example, what I've been teaching now concerning the inner sun science and technology, whereby I've been teaching people that the sun, as in the S-U-N, parallels the human imagination. And the human imagination parallels, no, for the sun, it parallels the human imagination. The human imagination also parallels the sun. Without the sun, there's no life and there's no light on this planet. And without the human imagination, there isn't anything made that was made. So right there, I realized that to program or train the subconscious mind is to basically put you in alignment with the sun, which represent the inner light that is inside of you. Okay, your subconscious mind will ignite by way of feeling. You see, your subconscious mind is like a conduit for the current that you are generating or the electricity that you are generating. So the subconscious mind is referred to as the heart. When it states that as a man thinketh in his heart. So you see, it is speaking from the place of the subconscious. It means that the place of the subconscious mind is where all creation takes place. Let me run that again. The place of the subconscious mind is where all creation takes place. So let me use the subconscious mind and use Mother Earth to show you something. And I'm using the simple principle of sowing and reaping. You see, when you put a pumpkin seed in the soil to grow pumpkin, it is in a hidden place. It is in a place that you cannot see. It is in a place where you cannot really hear. You can hear when the pumpkin seed is growing. You can see when it's growing. You can smell when it's growing. You can until it comes above the surface of the soil that had it covered. Well, so too is your body have covered your consciousness or your awareness. And so the body is like the avatar. So you can liken the avatar or the body to the earth itself, which is the earth. It comes from the earth. It must goes back to the earth also. So I'm basically teaching you the element of earth, wind, water, and fire. But if you do not understand, the heart is where the fire is being ignited, which is the seat of your consciousness. As a melanated person, the seat of your consciousness is a place of carbon, it's a place of fire. Sun fire, sunlight, sun power, sun energy. So this energy of the soul is solar energy. And it is the greatest energy there is. And it is the energy that is being converted into money and personality and what they call celebrity, what they call movie, what they call invention, what they call innovation. All these different things come from one source. The sun is the only source. Of energy whereby everything is dependent upon the sun in order to multiply, in order to bring forth. So too, you have to depend on your subconscious mind to be impressed with what? The feeling. The feeling is magnetism and electricity. When magnetism and electricity come together, it's creativity. It's a magical thing that is taking place inwardly and it's been revealed outwardly. So as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So the heart is the treasure. So where your heart is, there shall the treasure be also is a parable. It's the same. Where the heart is where the treasure is. Well, I'm telling you that treasure is your inner power. Your inner power is sun power, which you call mind power. But most people do not know mind power and sun power is the same power. It's one light. And the opposite of the light is the darkness. The opposite of the truth is the lie. It's been perverted. So when you understand polarity, you understand I'm saying, in short, that you have one coin, the coin has a head and it has a tail. Well, I'm saying to you, if you want to live a magical life, if you want to live a life that will reproduce and grow and expand and multiply, you have to live from the subconscious level, which means that you have to live from inside out. And to live from inside, you have to live knowing that which you want to be has already taken place. When you start to live from the place of the subconscious, there is no time. When you start to live from the place of the subconscious, there's no limit. Because you are limitless. When you start to live from the place of the subconscious, you're moving at the speed of thought. You're creating at the speed of thought. You're traveling at the speed of thought. You're multiplying at the speed of thought. For it is always now. That's why I'm going to go into something very deep here. Some people might get it, some people mightn't get it. Those who have trapped your souls, because many souls have been trapped. Many melanated souls have been trapped and been enslaved in the spiritual realm. And the way how they've been enslaved and trapped in the spiritual realm is through their religious beliefs. And they're like zombies in the spiritual world, going wrong. And the leader have them going wrong. So basically, like for example, let me break it down. Like Ellen G. White can't stay under a spell, a 7-day Adventist spell. And when you leave this physical world and you enter in the spiritual world, she still have you under the spell in the spiritual world going around, not knowing that you can't have a day without the sun. Okay? Not knowing that every day is basically Sunday. Because there's only one cycle, a light and darkness. And the light and darkness Okay, because there is a cycle. You have to understand the cycle. I go to an extreme and end up in just one cycle. And that one cycle could be darkness. So you live in darkness all the time and you go around in a circle. And that's how they chop your soul. Okay? But when you start to understand that you are a creative being and you have a creative center, and you realize that that creative center is the mind that you can't see, but you can feel, then it starts to become more intuitive. And then you start to understand, well, I'm projecting a feel, but it's an energetic feel. Therefore, what I project in my environment, that is exactly who I am. Well, unfortunately, if you do not know your I am consciousness, your I amness, you're gonna give your I am power away to something else, and you will not be living from the subconscious level. So you have the subjective mind and you have the objective mind, and most people just living from the objective mind, but they're not living from the subjective mind. But the subjective mind does give you the objective mind. In short, what I am saying, everything in this physical three-dimensional world, they think to be so physical and real, you have to understand that it emanates from the spiritual world. So it is a reflection of a spiritual self. How much money you earn is a reflection of a spiritual self. Where you live is a reflection of a spiritual self. So people living in slums, in the land where their forefathers grew up and their forefathers are controlled, and now they've been colonized. The only how they can escape that colonialism is through changing or rearranging their mindset. Well, you have to know the things that they give you to program your mindset to think and act a certain way. So, for example, if I want to discover what they put in place to affect my subconscious mind to think a certain way, I would have to look at the force of everything in my country. Look at the first church, the first school, the first bank, the force of everything. And when I look at the force of everything, then I have to ask myself, before the first church in my country, what was? Then I have to ask myself, before the first bank, what was? Before the force of everything, before the colonizers came to colonize your mind. Because if you do not break it there, you would not be able to break it from the spiritual. You would not be able to break it from the spiritual level that they keep you going wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong. So you live in your life on this planet just living from a 95, 95, 95. That you live in your life and waiting for retirement. That you live in your life wrong in a circle. Someone using a drone trying to kind of distract me with this drone, you know, and the birds fall in the drone. But anyway, so living from a subconscious level is how you're gonna overcome. You can't overcome from the reasoning mind. You can't overcome from the logical mind. That's why you have to brainwash yourself and you have to live your life from a delusional standpoint. When I say delusional standpoint, let me tell you what I mean by that. It is very hard for people to live their life on this planet as God. When you've been taught to believe in a God outside of yourself. And I tell you, believe in. But they're not telling you the opposite, that in is out. So they have you living outside and you being so brainwashed that you asking other people if they believe in God, and you forget you're using the word in while you're referring to an out God. So the renewing of your mind and the rearranging of your mind, it have to be arranged and renewed from the system that you come here and meet. Because when you came here, you had no belief system at all. That's why you have to get rid of all of the belief system and hold to what you came here with. Well, you came here with your will. You came here with the power to reason, with mind and speech. You came here with your intuition. You came here with your imagination. You came here with all of your mental faculties. You didn't come here on this planet with a belief system. You didn't come here with a political system. You didn't come here with a religious system. You didn't come with a school system. You have already a built-in school system that is inside of you, because what you use in the outer school system, which is memory, you already came with that inside of you. But then they program you to remember what they tell you is a different story. But when you start to remember where you come from, and you start to remember who you were before you passed through the portal of your mother and your father, and you start to go back to the source of who you are. Then you start to live in your true self. Then you can operate in your true power. So your subconscious mind is the mind that continue living, right? Even while I tell you, this person with this journey is definitely a little distraction in a way, right? But I'm not gonna really make that drone, distract me. Okay. But anyway, yeah. Your subconscious mind I was saying your subconscious mind is your creative mind. And whatsoever you impress your subconscious mind to give to you, your subconscious mind will give to you. So when it is stated that anything that you seek the Father for, the Father will give to you, you have to realize that your body is like the sun. Okay? And the Father is the Spirit. And so, if in spirit you ask for fish, you wouldn't be given a serpent or a snake. And if you ask for bread, you wouldn't be given stone. What that really means is that when you understand that the Father is the progenitor and he carries the seed, then you will realize that the seed to produce and reproduce the ideal life you want to live on this earth, it is thought. And you are the operator of thoughts and the generator of thoughts. And you're the only one who have the ability to destroy thoughts. So if you have thoughts of lack, if you have thoughts of scarcity and all of these things, you could destroy it. So when it comes to renewing your mind, this thing you have to destroy if you're going to renew. If you're going to rebuild, that thing you have to break down. If you're going to rebuild. Okay? So, my brother, my sisters, you have to start to train your subconscious mind to feel like a millionaire. You have to start to train your subconscious mind to feel what it's like to see your first 100,000 in the bank if you've never had 100,000 before. Okay, because most of the time when I do these live, I'm trying to reach people who was just like me. Okay, who worked for 17 years and 9 to 5 and was paid meager wages because I was exchanging time for money and I didn't have the right concept about myself and I didn't have the right concept about money and I didn't know how to live my life magically. Okay, I didn't understand how thoughts become things. I didn't understand the metaphysical of myself. Okay, and I didn't understand the metaphysical of the book that was given to me from a child to believe in. Okay, and so when I come to understand it by my own experience, I was willing to share this experience with the world. And that is why I didn't start off teaching manifestation. I could have started off teaching manifestation, but I start off teaching the false programming that we receive. So for years, I've been teaching people that we've been trapped in secular Christianity to give us a certain mentality. And so those of us who have had a certain belief system that was built into us, it's like a curse. It's like a yoke you're carrying around and you need to break that yoke. And so through careful observation, I realized that the system doesn't mind you getting rich and making money. But as long as you do not know your true identity, that's the key. They're making sure that you do not find your true identity, that you do not exactly know who you are. So if they could run a program whereby you can get the things that you want in life, but you still have a belief in an outside entity, especially if you're still preserving secular Christianity. Okay, that's why anyone with common sense would realize that they have a Jesus agenda, that they are using it. Even they want to tie it into law of attraction. They want to tie it into alchemy. They want to tie it into every aspect of the science that they was using secretly to continue to keep a people to look outwardly while they look inwardly. So if they could get you talking about law of attraction and making more money and living a more rich life and so on, but yet you're still saying hallelujah and you're still saying amen, and you do not know anything about amen, you do not know anything about the story that was told in many different cultures the same way. You do not know anything about Horus and Osiris and all of that. And you believe about the virgin birth they tell you about. And you believe about the Jewish Lord and Master and Savior they give you, which is the idol they give to rule over your life. You will gain this world and you will lose your soul because you're going to end up in the dream world following someone who chop your soul to keep coming back here as a slave. That's why you must never be slave to money or slave to anything. Don't be slave to Christianity. Don't be slave to religion. I know right now I'm speaking about the subconscious, right? But let me say this. Okay, and how you have to be careful with people on the internet. There's a guy they call 607 Onk. Okay? And I saw him on a program where he was on a debate with Christians. Okay? And it was Yanson Man Jabbar. Okay? And it could be a chap. Because when you're dealing with a religious mind, you're dealing with a mind that is under a spell. A mind that is under control. And when it comes to a black woman who is fully controlled, okay, she's actually possessed. Literally possessed. Okay? With an energy of fear and deception. And it is so powerful that she is so deep and she do not realize how deep she is under a spell. And so the person who brings 6, 7 unk on his channel, these people normally bring people like 6 or 7 unk and that black woman together to argue with themselves, with one another, while they push them further under the spell. But because they've been paid to appear on these podcasts and so on, they're not seeing it. Okay? So to have a woman so controlled and so programmed that she calls herself a sinner, and she's so intellectual, and she's so deceptive in her speech and her behavior, that if you are not well grounded, her spirit of confusion will confuse you to act a certain way, to project a certain energy out into the world of the people who want to come up with a reason why they should believe in the idol and serve the idol and worship the idol. So what happened? This 6 or 7 man, he so much believed that by speaking and reasoning to these people like this Christian woman, that he could get somewhere, that he failed to realize he'd been set up. So when he react in a certain way, they will say he being disrespectful. When he react in a certain way, people will attack him, and that's what they want. So basically, as a melanated person, you have to be careful of melanated women who are deeply under spells and programs. They are demon possessed. And they will trick you and make you believe that they're so feminine. And make you believe that other women are masculine when you're supposed to be both masculine and feminine. And then she had now to turn around and tell 6, 7 unk that he's not a masculine man. There's no such a thing as a masculine man and a feminine man. Don't make nobody fool you. You're both masculine and feminine. And there's no such a thing as a feminine woman and a masculine woman. You're both masculine and feminine. So she was there sitting by the table and pretending. He was trying to bring out the demon inside the ship, but they couldn't see it. And you have this man on the internet called himself MTR. He come up with a video and talking a bunch of shit. And these are the kind of people just give them money, and a lot of young men just listen to these kind of people. They deceive you. This woman is controlled. And so these people who set up certain system to keep you a mental slave, they will put you to argue with one of your own kind, while both of you look stupid. So both 6 or 7 unk and that so-called woman who people talk about, oh, she's such an angel, she's such a... Those people are assholes making all of those comments. Because there's no person on this earth, no woman on this earth that's so feminine, okay, that she should just sit back and relax and let anybody say anything or do anything. So she was acting out a lie that she can't live. Okay, that's why when if 6, 7 unk tells you to shut the fuck up and tells you all of that, you have a right to charge that because she claiming that she's feminine. And it is not an insult, it is not a hurt, it is none of that should ever offend she at all. And people can't see it. And they go on MTR video and make a bunch of comments. And I'm saying, but I see whereby a lot of melanated people living in North America, they need a lot of help. They need a lot of help. That is why any and everybody could come on the internet and tell them anything. Every one of us have both a masculine and a feminine side of ourselves. The reason why I desire a woman, it is because there's a feminine part of me, and there's a masculine part of me too. So you have to understand balance. And that is why when people have a religious and superstitious mindset, they will never understand balance. So she pretending to be cool and calm, and people saying, oh, he bringing out the demon out of 6 or 7 uncle and all of that. It's not that. People misunderstand positive and negative thoughts. They misunderstand what is demon and angels. It's the same thing. They misunderstand what is God and the devil. It's the same thing. And I have to say these things so you understand the principle of money and the principle of energy and the principle of knowing the power of your mentality. So my brother, my sisters, you have to live subjectively. Live from the subconscious mind, which is the God mind. You can't operate from your God mind if you believe there's some other God on the outside. There's only one God, and the only one God is you. Be still and know that I am God. If you can't beat your chest, then you're full of shit. Be still. How are you going to be still and know that I am God? Not until you learn to use your mind in stillness, in silence. Not until you know how to act and behave in the real world, which is the spiritual world, the non-physical world, the world of the subconscious mind. And not until you train yourself to live like a God, you would live like a God, walk like a God, talk like a God, sex like a God, do everything like a God, because you don't believe in no God on the outside. Because when you look in the mirror, you see the image of God, you see the likeness of God, then you start to act like a God, closing your eyes and living in the now. You know God can't be poor because you look at nature and nature is rich. Nature always brings forth bountifully. I always look at the sea always brings forth bountifully. My life have to bring forth bountifully. But most people don't question their belief system. Most people don't argue with their belief system. Many years ago, I lift up the Bible, hold it in my hand, and beat it. Hit it right by the scriptures that he have certain promises. And argue with those promises. I argue with the God that the Matrix give me. That's how I win. They say God create man, but man come back around and create God and give you a God. And tell you mustn't question that God. You must argue with that God. When I question and I argue that God and I win in the court of life, I challenge that God in the court of life and I won my case. I won my case against the white man God. I won my case against the colonizers God. I'm afraid to say that. Because I ain't coming on YouTube just to get views and people like me and all of that. I come here to speak the truth. I argue with the God that the system gave me, and I won my case. So if I win my case, and you haven't won your case, and I teaching you how to win your case, and I'm telling you, live subjectively, live from the subconscious mind, and live in the now, I am telling you that you can be and do whatsoever you want to be in this world, and do whatsoever you want to do in this world, and live a magical life. After a while, of you practicing to live from the subconscious level, and you train your mind, knowing that your brain is a transmitter and a receiver, a frequency, and you know you can transmit energy because you're energy. I remember I was speaking to a religious woman, and I speaking about energy, and she told me, no, don't say energy, say the Holy Spirit. And I already experience myself as fire above my head. And I understand and experience myself as wind and water, okay, and earth. And I know this woman is quoting Acts chapter 2, and she's talking about the elements. And she doesn't even know she's speaking about the elements. Earth, wind, water, and fire. You being the spirit, you being the operator, and you being the generator, okay? And you're also going to be the destroyer to destroy all your limiting beliefs and so on. I had the experience, and she had the nerve to be talking that shit in front of me. And these are the people who are vaccinated when they were told to go take the vaccine. Because I know the line of job she's in. So my brother and my sister, when you do not live from the subconscious level, they could make you get vaccine if you don't want to take vaccine. Most people in my country that have been vaccinated, it is because they had loans and mortgages with the bank. And because they're not living subjectively, they're living more objectively. They're not living from the place of the cause. They're living from the place of the effect. Poverty is an effect. Lack is an effect. Scarcity is an effect. And the effect is a state of mind. It's a way of thinking. If you're doing 2 or 3 jobs to survive, it is because of the way of your thinking. The man who owns 10 million and the man who owns 100 million, they have to do with the thinking. So as a melanated person, many of our people were never taught to think big. There's some people who would say, boy, if only I get $1 million. Yeah, when you get $1 million, you realize that's not enough. When you see Caucasian people on the internet, like Hormozy and them, when they speak, Alex Hormozy and his wife, okay, when they speak about money, they speak about 100 million. But if you want to be able to vibrate to a place where you start to speak about 100 million, you have to raise your vibration. You have to raise your frequency. You have to become more confident in knowing who you are and the power that you possess. And people will laugh at you. People will mock you. But you have to believe in yourself. You have to understand consistency. If you work with a principle and that principle take it from 0 to 1, that's the answer you're looking for. Because if it can multiply from 0 to 1, all you have to do is add 0 and 0 and 0 and 0 and 0, and that 0 represents your energy. Money is energy. Money is electrical and magnetic in nature. And your mind is magnetic and electrical in nature. Along with the sun. The sun is magnetic and electrical in nature. How could anyone in the right mind look at the sun and turn their backs on the sun and talk about some being outside of themselves being the light of the world? You have to be dumb. If you do not realize that the sun is the savior of the world, the sun is the savior of the world. If you do not realize that, you're dumb. The sun is the healer of the world. The sun is the provider of the world. There's no other provider outside of the sun. And the sun wasn't created by no one. The sun is energy. And energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only be transmuted. Money is the transmutation of energy. The vehicle you drive is the transmutation of energy. The clothes you wear is the transmutation of energy. Just energy. Just mind. All is mind. What can a religious priest say to me that doesn't come from the mind? What can a prime minister or president or politician say to you that doesn't come from the mind? What the hell a preacher could tell you that doesn't come from the mind? Have you ever seen a preacher walk on water? No, because it has never happened. Have you ever seen a preacher turn water into wine? No, because it has never happened. But you can turn your goals and your dreams into tangible reality, things that you can taste, touch, and smell. Why do you think you have a cell phone? It is the manifestation of a thought. You're holding a thought in your hand as a cell phone. You're driving in a thought. When you drive a vehicle, you're driving in a thought that becomes thing. So as a melanated person, wake up from the false God. Don't make them tell you some man coming from the sky to save you. The only man coming from the sky to save you is the sun. The only man walking on water is the sun when they rise up in the morning. And you get wine from fruits. And the fruits come from the chi. And the chi gets its energy or vitality from the sun. So all the religious idiots who believe that there's some savior on the outside gonna save them. These are the people who end up taking all the vaccine. They vaccinate them like animals in 2020. And people call me stupid. They call me crazy when I tell them it was just a scamdemic. I tell them it was a pandemic. In the time of COVID, I make more money than I ever make in my whole life in the time of COVID. Why? I had more time to meditate. I had more time to be in nature. I wasn't worrying about nothing. When people was protesting, I was rejoicing because they was giving their energy away. And they don't know they was giving their energy away. They were given the opportunity to break the 9 to 5 and tap into their creativity. And they didn't do that. Then I start to tap more into my creativity in the time of the pandemic because I had more time for myself. So if they keep you busy, exchanging time for money, exchanging time for money, exchanging time for money, okay, you would not live subjectively, which means you will not be living from the subconscious mind. When you start to live from your subconscious mind, you realize that everything is already here. Everything is already done. You ain't gonna go on your knee and pray and beg some God on the outside. I believe you have some man in the sky. I believe you have some man coming to save you. No. You take what you feel worthy of. You start to feel worthy. You start to feel deserving. Whichever life you want to live, you feel more deserving of it. Because why? You cultivate a different mindset. Not the one you get from your parents and your parents which they pass down to you. Like for example, in my country where I'm living here, it is, they call it culture or tradition. That they would program the children at a very young age to believe in some entity in the sky outside of themselves. But they wouldn't tell them the entity is the sun, as in the S-U-N. They tell them it's a S-O-N 2,000 years ago. And they give them a false belief. And so when they finish program them in the school system, when they leave the school system, they're looking for a job. They're going to exchange time for money. And then after that, when they get older in life, they joined some religious denomination that started by some white man or some white woman many years ago. And that been keeping many of our people under spell, under curse. And the only way you could break the curse, you have to go into the dream wall. You have to go in the spiritual wall and find the founder. All the melanated people call themselves Seventh-day Adventists, unless they could channel Ellen G. White and go into the spirit world and take back the power. The chap, why you think Europeans could have taken over America? And they meet the native of America, black people just like me, right in America. And they build America. Why you think the European was able to take over? Because the people miss the power of their own mind. And they take on a different mindset. One that pointing them to look on the outside. So they look on the outside. Oh, Jesus coming to save. Jesus coming to heal. And the sun has been healing the earth from since the dawn of time. That is why there's nothing new under the sun. Tell me something that's new under the sun. Tell me something that Jesus could do that you can't do. Tell me something that God could do that you can't do. Everything that God could do, you could do. Because why? You're God. There's no other God. Don't make that fool you. The very life inside of you is God. The intelligence that's in you. It could kill and it could make alive. It could wound and it could heal. And God say, I am God and there's no other. I'm the one who kill and I'm the one who make alive. I'm the one who wound and I'm the one who heal. I'm the one who create the darkness. I'm the one who create the light. It is your own mind that will keep you in ignorance or put you in a place whereby you are wise. It's the mind. It's always the mind. So everything is mental. Everything is psychological. That is why, unless you understand that the Bible is mind science, you wouldn't know how to use it to give you anything you want in this world. Why are you not bowing down to no idol? But you have to live from the subconscious mind. So my brother, my sisters, I'm saying to you, live subconsciously. Impress your subconscious mind with the feeling that you already have. Impress the subconscious mind that you are already the person you want to be. Once your subconscious mind receives this signal, do you know that you're walking, breathing signal station? You're a GPS station, you know. Just like a television, just like a radio, and so on. They have different channels and so on and all of that. The same thing with you. Everything comes from the mind. Everything exists in consciousness, in your consciousness, in your awareness. So you have to become a millionaire in your mind first. Walk and talk and be a millionaire. People will laugh at you. They will say all kind of thing. But when you become that multi-millionaire, you see them in the same position all the time. Because they didn't have the level of belief in themselves. Subconscious living. Train your brain to be rich by training your subconscious mind. This whole teaching is about your subconscious mind. You have to train your subconscious mind. As a melanated person, to train your subconscious mind, you have to get rid of the old teachings and beliefs. You have to break the Jesus program. I can't tell you nothing else. I can't lie to you. I can't lie to melanated people. I have to tell melanated people the truth. And this one go hot. The dark people been enslaving the God people. I pull my ways right here. This here is God here, not dog here. If you spell God the opposite way, you're going to see a dog. They have you living like a dog when you're supposed to be living like a God. And how do you live like a dog? By following the dog man. Jesus is a dog man. White Jesus is a dog man. When they give you a idol with blonde hair and blue eye and all of that, that's a dog man. You're not a dog, you're a God. You're not a beggar, you're a master. When they ask who's the master, say, I am the master. Claim your iron power. Is the only how you free yourself. So my brother, my sisters, don't get caught up with getting money. Get caught up with being free. It's good to have money and be free at the same time. But having the money and you're not free? You get trapped in a certain dimension. I know where I'm coming from. I know what I'm telling you. So my brothers and sisters, I'm saying get rid of religion. Get rid of the religious mindset. Okay? If you want to live a rich life. Get rid of all that your parents tell you that was a lie. And I'm telling you, white Jesus is a lie. If you're a melanated person, when you look in the mirror, you're supposed to see God. If you don't see God, then you're brainwashed. If you can't see God, you're seeing a dog. And you live your life like a dog. They vaccinate those people like dogs, like animals. In my country. Many people die after they've been vaccinated. And they had to do it because they had loans and mortgages with the bank. I can't say that. But if they didn't have loans and mortgages with the bank, they would not take the vaccine. The reason why they have loans and mortgages with the bank is because they do not know that they are money. And but could convince me otherwise that I am not money. I am energy and money is energy. I am magnetic and electrical. Money is magnetic and electrical. I don't care whose head on top of the paper. I know you had some Rasta men who say, oh, money and the Queen of England, the Queen and the money. I don't care who's on the money. My head is on the money. Got to use my head to print the money. Most people think, well, there's a mint where they print money and that's the only place money comes from. No. The mint come from the mind. All the impressions and all of these things that printed on the money come from the mind. So your mind is money and money is your mind. So money have to be a reflection of your mind. Damn. This is so good. So my brother, my sister, when I realize how much I own is a reflection of my mind. You understand? I realize the world is mine. And when I say that, I mean, it's a reflection. The world is being given to the mirror to measure myself. The mango tree is a mirror for me to measure myself. The coconut tree is a mirror for me to measure myself. The seawater that brings forth all of the fishes is a mirror for me to measure myself. The high-rise buildings, the billionaires, the multi-millionaires, all these people on the planet is a reflection to show you who you're supposed to be if you want to be that. It's to tell you everything is right here for you. You can be whatsoever you want to be. But you have to fix your mentality. You have to fix your mentality, my brother, my sisters. And how you gonna do it? Subjectively. You have to train your subconscious mind. So you have to unlearn, you have to relearn, and then you have to reprogram your subconscious mind. Look, one way how I train my subconscious mind every single day of my entire life since I discovered this thing. There's certain mantras I say every living day. I must say millions of times. There's some people, there's certain things you have to say millions and millions and millions of times. Can you affirm it every day in life? To say that I am happy, I am healthy, and I am wealthy, and I am wise every day in my life. You understand what I'm saying? It's the best feeling. I say that every living day. Plus some other stuff. I'm just giving you some of what I normally say every day. So every day I'm healthy. Every day I am wealthy. Every day I am wise. I am. I'm not going to use I am with no lack and no scarcity and no maybe. I will be. No. You want money? Now. Count it in the now. You want to drive your Lamborghini? Drive your Lamborghini now. I remember one time a guy asked me what's color my Lamborghini. I live in the Caribbean. Why do I want a Lamborghini? In the Caribbean, you're going to get parts? No. I don't really need no Lamborghini. I need something that will fit the terrain. So I would rather have a luxury Range Rover. Okay? So, my brother, my sisters, everything is here for the taking. You just have to learn to order and wait. But how are you going to order? By begging? By besieging, by praying? Your mother and your grandmother and your grandfather and great-great-grandfather who tell you to go on the knee and pray to some God on the outside. They didn't know better. But I am telling you, as your mentor, if you accept me as your mentor, if you believe me to be a mentor, I am telling you, I try both ways and I know which one work for me. Begging a God outside myself don't work for me. Going inwardly through meditation, through visualization, scripting, mirror work, all of these different things. Me being an operator and a generator. Me being a destroyer to destroying all of my limiting beliefs, all of my religious beliefs. I've been on both sides and I know what works and what doesn't work. I'm not going to hold on something that doesn't work for me. I remember holding the Bible and I say, look, you say here, that to try me now and see if I wouldn't open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you know I have room enough to store. Why nothing happening for me? Nothing was happening. No, when the windows open and I understand what the windows are, I put a book together, How to Open the Floodgates of Abundance. You can get it at Amazon, the link down below. Okay? When I realize how this thing works, I can't keep quiet. I can't keep this a secret. No, this is bubbling up inside of me. A blessing poured on me. I can't keep the blessing. I want to share it. Everybody, I want to share it with the world. And it's so simple. And people like so much a thing for free. That's why they realize when they get things for free, you don't pay much attention, you know, and you don't take it more seriously. That's why as I said before in all that video, I think, every year I'm going to carry up my price. You want to talk to me one-on-one this year, better do it this year. Don't wait for next year because you're going to be more. You have to pay me more. Because as I earn more and as this work for me, you understand, I start to take my time more seriously. I start to see more value. Okay, in my time. I start to see the value of what I'm teaching. I start to see it more and more and more. When I see where certain man on the internet charging people, the people who doesn't listen to me should be ashamed. You need to be introduced to the golden man. I remember the golden man could show you all the things that you have. You have Rolls Royce, you have this, you have that. But he could never tell about the colonizers who colonize you to think a certain way and believe you a certain way. He would tell you that they program you to be poor. You notice on the internet I always say they program you to do this, they program. They don't tell you who program you. I'm telling you, as a melanated person, the colonizers do program your ass through the religious system, political system, school system, and these other systems to be poor. And I'm telling you how to escape. This is the escape plan being given to you. I think the movie Stallone explain escape plan. It's just a movie. It is out here, man. Right here. If you don't know how to go in, how you escape? Calling on Jesus, calling on Buddha, calling on Allah, calling on Shiva. Woo. But my sister, let me read these comments and then come to a close. Train your subconscious mind to live a rich life. Train your freaking subconscious mind. The things you have to repeat millions of times to train your subconscious mind. Millions. That's why I love walking. Let me share this with you. All before I close. That's why I love walking. Every day of my life I walk. Sometimes I walk twice. In the morning I walk in the evening just to be alone. So I can just speak to myself. Self-talk is more powerful than anything. Some people say, oh, I can't use my imagination, I can't do that. But you can talk. Self-talk. I don't have to talk out loud. Repetition is key. How you think they program you through repetition? In school says how you think they program you. All you have to do is watch what they did to program you and do the same thing the other way around, okay, to reprogram you. So if they used to use repetition to program you to be a paycheck slave, to be a religious slave, to be an educational slave or whatever slave, okay, then you use the same repetition, but you use it in a different way now. Use everything that they've been using, use it in a different way. So the same thing or the same power that is used to keep you poor is the same power that used to get you rich. It's the same damn one mind. It's one mind. But it's just different arrangement of the same mind. That's why if you have a rich man and you have a poor man and you have a beggar man and you have a thief, what are you using? A different mind? No. One mind. But just arrangement. Different arrangement that have the same one mind. You take a knife. You could take a knife and save someone's life. And you can use the same knife and take someone's life. It's the same one power. But it's how you use the power. You can use the power to destroy. And you can use the power to uplift. But I'm telling you, there's a people who use the power to destroy a set of people. To control a set of people. What do you think colonialism is? Not until I wake up and get in alignment and fix my mind. Not until I did that I understand colonialism. I was living in a country having a colonial mentality and didn't even know I had a colonial mentality. Didn't even know my mind was colonized. I didn't know. Not until I wake up. When you wake up is when your eyes is open. So when you read in a book that tell you when your eyes open, they know they were naked. And you think that is telling you of a story that happened thousands of years ago. You're brainwashed. That's not a story that happened thousands of years ago. People was here millions of years ago. And they give you a 6,000-year-old story. And tell you about a man and a woman in a garden. No, your mind is a garden. Your mind is a garden with a solid seed. And when your eye open, then you realize you're naked because you realize that thoughts become things. And I could watch your life and no, you're naked. Bro, you're only making $50,000 a year. You live in America. It's your mindset. It has nothing to do with the white boy. It's your mindset. I want to fix it. You live in England, you live in Canada, you live in a big metropolitan country and so on. And you ain't talking hundreds of millions. Are you showing that you have 20 pair of shoes? You see, sometimes I see melanated people showing that 20 pair of shoes. I only have about 2, you know. I don't need no more than that. You have a whole case of shoes. To prove what? And then you put it up on social media. You have 40, 50, 100 pair of shoes. Shoes. And then you ain't invest in none of the shoe company. You have Nike, you have Adidas, you have all of that. You invest in Adidas. You invest in Nike. So my brother, my sister, you have to change your subconscious mind to be rich. You know, people just go every Saturday, Sunday with a book in their hand. And the book say, let the post say I'm rich. You know what I say? That I tell you, change your subconscious mind in spite of what you are seeing. Because there's only cause and effect, but they understand it. Because the parents been believing in the pastor. Who taking tithes and offering. Look, I did give you so much of my energy. Me asking for tithes and offering? No. But I'm saying to you, if you get a spiritual food from here and you don't sow here, too bad for you. Because why? I live by the golden rule. Do unto others as have them do unto you. You want people bless you, you bless other people. I bless in other people. And I know by law, it have to come back to me. It must. It's a law. There's another law that says you must write it down. Napoleon Hill call it definite a purpose. But it's right there in the book, in the Bible. Mind science. Bible is a book of mind science and it's a book of sun science. Sun science is mind science. That's why the inner sun science course I used to have and tell people go and just pay $20 and thing, raise up that and then take it over again, make it another way again, put it another way again. Yo, this thing. I remember someone coming and say, if someone know the kind of the level, the depth of magic you're teaching us. You see, most people don't know they're magicians, eh? And they don't understand the power of the sun. Let me read some comments here. Okay, someone said they was waiting, for this great teaching today. Okay, and definitely it's a great teaching. Every week is a great teaching. Someone say master teacher, Baba BMG. As a matter of fact, Baba is what my girl normally call me. Okay, I tell her, I say Baba is a master man, an experienced person, everything and all of that. Okay. Someone say, hope all is well. My group, blessed day, blessed thoughts, sending nothing but the highest frequency of love and gratitude. Yes. You see, gratitude is a word I use every single day. Every day I would wake up. Okay, even my 3-year-old daughter, okay, would use the word gratitude. And I just use gratitude a certain way. I say gratitude. I send a vibration with my gratitude. You can live in an attitude of gratitude, believing he has some man who existed 2,000 years ago, who walk on water and who turn water into, and believe it to be a literal story. You can't live in gratitude, believing that you had a literal man and a literal woman in a literal garden. And it had a literal snake, a literal animal. It's not literal. That's why you can't live from the conscious mind. If you want to create a rich life, you have to live from the subconscious life, from the subconscious mind, I mean, which is the non-physical mind. So there's a physical mind that is represented by the brain, being a transmitter and a receiver frequency. You could touch somebody's brain, but you can't touch the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the dreamer that dreams at night. I remember one time I met a religious man who was trying to tell me about God. And when I tried to tell him he been brainwashed, he said, you can't give yourself a dream. You can't give yourself a dream. I said, bro, the dream I made is God. I shut him up. I said, boy, the dreamer that dreams at night, that's God. You could see, taste, touch, and smell. That's why they say God don't sleep. Your subconscious mind don't sleep. Can't sleep. That's why death is not real. Death is not real. The intelligence just leave the body. The body is a house. The house is made from dirt. So it goes back to dirt, but the intelligence continues. So if you was a Jehovah's Witness idiot, you continue being a Jehovah's Witness idiot, and you would be led by the founder of the Jehovah's Witness in the spirit world. I know that by experience. I went into the spiritual world and meet a certain religious founder. Even before Ellen G. White and them. This man used to work with the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. He was trained by the imperial wizard at the Ku Klux Klan, a man named Roy E. Davis. And this man was trained by him. Make millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars from people in Africa, telling them he's a last day prophet, and they believe. I went into the gym wall and meet this man, stop him all thing. Nights after nights, I would hear him and I can't find him. I was in a wilderness, and then when I catch him, I see what he was doing. So when I speak, I know what I'm saying. I know what these people must be doing. That is why anytime of COVID, when people was busy, they were buying land to enslave the people at the resort called Sandal Resort. Most people in my country ain't no Sandal Resort. But they have Sandal Resort and everything, where it was Bukomembe Resort. And I wrote a book on that called Bukomembe Resort and the messenger with my experience there. Okay? When I walk off from there and tell them I'm not an indentured servant and I ain't no slave. Okay? I remember being down there, I used my imagination. I use visualization. Walking with a couple from England. Okay? And when I finished with them, I was doing spinning with them. I tell them hold up their hand and say yeah. And I hold it up like this. And the man jump off the bike thinking I'm holding up the Black Power sign, the white man. And in my mind, I have him to think that, hey, he's too young to even know anything about Black Power. Okay? And exactly, I see when everything, expression, everything off his face change and everything and all of that. And at that time, I'm not knowing the DNA inside of me, okay, was telling me that real Black Power is mind power. It's not an organization. It's not no Rastafari thing. It's not none of those kind of things. It's mind power. So when it comes to financial power is a reflection of mind power. So if you be honest, the people who, I do a video called on another channel called Black People Pray Too Effing Much. You know what I mean? They beg too much and beseech so much. The most praying and begging people on the planet is black people. And black people still at the bottom of the barrel. I mean, if we be honest, the less productive people. Why? Because they're giving away their creative power, believing in an outside savior. It's a chick. And I'm not going to stand for it. I'm not going to sit for it. I'm not going to try to be nice for people subscribe and all of that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sell myself. I'm speaking the truth. There are many people teaching metaphysics doing all of this on the internet, and they can't speak like me because they make a contract. I could call their name too, but I ain't going to do that. They make contracts. So they can't say what they want to say because who run the narrative on the internet could do whatever they want to do. But you don't sell your soul. You could gain the world and you will lose your soul because why? Your soul get chopped. They're using what they tell you is witchcraft is what they're using on you. Because you do not know how powerful you are. You do not understand the power of your mind. You're not disciplined enough. Watch, I could teach this thing from now till the day I die. And there are people who would listen from now till the day I die. And unless they apply this kind of knowledge and become very, very disciplined, they wouldn't understand that a disciple is a discipline. And a disciple is a follower. And we just follow you wherever you go. It's the thoughts that just follow you wherever you go. Don't let the preachers fool you. Your thoughts will follow you wherever you go. You're the 13th one. And all your mental faculties and qualities, you could put them under 12 powers. And you could call them 12 disciples if you want. Don't make them fool you about angel and fallen angels. Who's an angel? An angel is a messenger. What does bring message to you? Is your thoughts. What does take message from you? Is your thoughts. So a fallen angel is a fallen negative thought. So when you think negatively about money, you must live in scarcity. That's why people, that's why I said why some people in my country they take vaccine. Because they don't know how to create money. Because they do not know that they themselves is money. You are money. Money is energy. And you are energy. But the energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can be transmuted. So challenge me now. Put your money where mouth lie. I've been using this thing for so long and prove that it's working. And science can back what I am speaking in so much that I could challenge a man that for example, if he decide to pay me $1,000 at 10x the $1,000 he live thousands of miles away from me. And I can find a quiet place and sit down, do what I have to do, and 10x that for him. You think they want you to have the power? You see why symbolically they give you a sort of man and tell you that a man could have do that and they crucify the man. They will trick you, know. It's you they want to crucify when you know what to do. And you could teach people how to do what they could do. So they don't need a preacher and they don't need a politician. Because government is to govern your mental. And every country needs to have churches to control the mind of the people. And they need to have schools to program you as a child. And they need to have politicians to play the political game on you. When you're supposed to be the government of your life, because it is your thoughts that is becoming reality in your own life. As a man thinketh. Go get that book by James Allen. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Get a book. Or go and listen The Stranger's Secret by All Nightingale. And you will realize how these people are speaking codes. And if you as a melanated person read their work, you ain't gonna get it unless you get what I'm telling you here. You read their books, you listen to their programs, you're not gonna get it. Unless you get what you're getting here from me. Bring me any book and I could decode it. I could decode Think and Grow Rich. I could decode The Secret by Rhonda Bones. The Magic by Rhonda Bones. All her work, I could decode all. Joe Dispenza, I could decode. Neville Goddard, I could decode. You bring them, name them. Bruce Lipton, all of them. Even if they take it from the scientific level, I could decode. All I using is nature. Just nature I using. All self-help teachers. All New York bestsellers. When it comes to personal development, bring their book. I show you the principle they're working with. That's why I tell you, you have to train your subconscious mind. Many people talking about Joseph Murphy and the power of his subconscious mind. But before Joseph Murphy, there was Christian Larson. But you ain't gonna tell you about those kind of people. And before that, you have to go all the way back to ancient Egypt. And when you go back to Egypt and you go back and back, you know where you're ending up? You're ending up with the DNA in our people. Like me. This thing is in our DNA. That's why it doesn't matter how much they hide it in books, how much they hide it in all kind of thing. We could decode it because it's in our DNA. We are the indigenous people of the world. I sorry for all the melanated people back who back in Argentina, in soccer and all of that. Argentina kill off all the black people, you know, to try to hide something. You think they? I don't even want to talk certain things. But what is in our DNA can't be stopped. They must wake up. And that's why they want to give you AI robots. So my brother and my sisters, start to train your subconscious mind. Okay, to be rich. Start to train your subconscious and program your subconscious mind. You want to be a millionaire? Say it over and over and over that I am a millionaire. Say it 1,000,000 times a day. The subconscious mind don't know a lie from the truth. The subconscious mind is like the womb of a woman. The womb of a woman could bring forth a child for a Chinese man, a Japanese man, an Indian man, a short man, a tall man, a fat man, a slim man, any kind of man. Why? Because she womb is impartial. So to the earth, you call the earth Mother Earth. You sow a seed in the earth and it will grow. A pumpkin seed, a corn seed, a pea seed. Any kind of seed you sow in the earth going to give you back. Well, whatsoever you put in your mind, that way you get him back. You put fear, you get back fear. And they use religion to keep him fair. So they will control the finances of the world. You see, you don't know they control the finance through religion. The only slavery there is mental slavery, and that mental slavery will equate to economic slavery. Why do you think Africa have all the wealth that can supply the entire world? Yet, the people in Africa, they live like paupers. Most of them. Not all of them, most. Because of what? Their religious belief. And because of their religious belief, they don't live from the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind doesn't care whether you have $10 or $100 in the bank. If you tell your subconscious mind is $1 million, your subconscious mind ain't gonna reason and say, hey, you're lying to me, no, that's 10. No, your subconscious mind can't reason that. That's why you need to understand your parasympathetic nervous system and your sympathetic nervous system. When you understand your nervous system, you will understand the tree of life. And you will understand the tree of knowledge of good and evil. When you understand the nervous system, you will understand the cross, the story of the cross. And you will realize it's not a religious story and not no man who exists thousands of years ago. You understand it's a damn parable. And then you will stretch out your two hands like this. And you realize the cross. And you realize you and die on the cross. And they've been crucifying you on the cross. You real self they've been crucifying on the cross. Who been crucifying you? Two thieves. How have they been crucifying you? One promising you a good life while you are here. If you give him your energy. And both of them have to just have a jacket and tie. And pretend. And the next one is promising you a good life after you leave here. If you give him your energy. Both of them are vampires. Live off your ignorance. That's why they want to keep you ignorant. So you go to school and they have you on repetitive mode. Memory. And you remember memory. So you regurgitate back everything they tell you in school. And that's all the same back. You just say back, regurgitate back. You never think a day for yourself. Preachers doing the same thing too. So you go think for yourself. When you start to think for yourself and you start to find out the powers that you are, and you start to realize how magical you be, then you start to understand the movie Harry Potter, you know. And you think it's a boy with a little stick. No. Your word is actually your wand. Those are symbols and signs that they're using. And the religious part goes, oh, that is demonic. A demon is a fallen thought, a negative thought. Gossiping is a demon that follows all church people. Do you realize being broke is a demon? You know, church people would not agree with me with that. Do you realize when you go to the bank and you take pen and paper and you sign, do you know the ink represents your blood? You know the blood covenant you're making to be a slave? Because the borrower is a slave to the lender. But when you know how to use your power, you don't have to borrow. You start from zero. I teach anybody how to start from zero. Let me read these other comments and then close. Okay? Somebody say, yeah, hope all is well, my group. Oh, I think I read this already. Blessed day, blessed, yeah. Thoughts and then nothing but the highest frequency of love and gratitude. Yeah. Read that already. Somebody say, and you people make video how to find right provider and partner. You see, some people want this kind of power to use to find a specific one. They want all of these different things. But you can find a specific one, you can do all of that. But at the end of the day, as a melanated person, I'm speaking to melanated people. As a melanated person, break the curse of Jesus off your life. You have to get rid of that. Jesus, white Jesus are talking about. White Jesus is the devil in your life as a black person. And watch, I unapologetic with that. I tell you the honest truth. That is you basically saying that you looking in the mirror and you cannot see your image and likeness. You're seeing the image and likeness of another. That is giving your power away. That is you being under spell. And it's time for our people to break this spell. All these religious organizations that start by some white man or some white woman, it was a spell. They just put melanated people under. So it doesn't matter which one they belong to. And it doesn't matter which one they belong to. Once you do the things I tell you to do, you have to succeed. It's impossible for you not to succeed. Impossible. And it is impossible for anyone in the entire world to prove me wrong when I say that the Bible is a book of mind science. If you speak, you prove me right. And if you act, you prove me right. Because a word is the expression of a thought. And an action is the expression of a thought. It's all mental. Well, fool your mind science. It's all mind science. Someone here said hi, another person said, I am that I am. Yes, you are that. You're whatsoever you believe yourself to be. I am that I am. It's telling you that you can't say I am and not referring to yourself. You don't really those people that say I am and think they're talking about somebody else. I am the way, the truth, and the life. And they think they're speaking for someone outside of themselves. No, it's you. You are the way. You are the truth. You are the life. That's what I am. I am is a universal name for everyone on this planet. That's why you don't say I am and say something negative after I am. That's why if you see things happening in your life that tell you you're poor, you have to say, I am rich. I guarantee you, if every day you're alive, you walk around saying, I am rich, I am rich, I am rich. You say it as much times per day. After a while, your life starts to change. Circumstances start to change in your life. Events start to change in your life. And if you understand what happened now, and your parents tell you must go on your knee and pray and beg, and then you see it happening, you will say, oh, God is good. I want to testify. I did this and it happened. I did that and it happened. So what about the man who not believe? Will you believe? And it's still happening for him. What are you using? It's a science, but you don't know the damn science. That's why preachers was able, that's why so much of preachers can make millions of people. Because it works. So even if you call on Jesus and you really believe, it can work. But everyone die as a fool. Because I could take somebody who do not believe one shit what you believe and teach them the science and then get the same result. You see where I'm coming from? So there are people on this planet who are creating consciously and those who are creating unconsciously. So those who are creating unconsciously, when they see result, they give praise to some entity on the outside. Think the entity bless them, I give them this, I give them that. In my country, a lot of people have scriptures right on their vehicle. I know they owe the bank. They didn't buy the vehicle cash. I remember I say if this thing is real, me borrow no money. I buy vehicle cash, I buy land cash, I buy everything cash. No borrowing. And so far it's been working. Woo! So good it's been working. If anyone tell me I could have be able to, I could go and buy land cash, I would have done them. If someone had come to me and tell me, oh, bro, you could make such and such a money in one hour. I could make so much and so much money in one day, I would have done them. But when I started to put these kind of principles to work in my life, and I started to program my subconscious, I trained my subconscious. It didn't happen overnight, you know. It took me over 3 to 4 years of training my subconscious mind, you know. It didn't just happen overnight. I started to use little things. I want a favor, I use my power, and I get favor done. I started using it in small ways before I started using a big way. I remember the first time I decided to try my power. What was to get a drink of water? I was tired and sleepy, and I desired that when I wake up, a bottle of water would be right there. And I just send my hand and take the bottle of water and drink the bottle of water, and that's what happened. When I asked who put the bottle of water, they say, but something was strong on top of me to just full of bottle of water and leave it there for you when you wake up. It happened twice. I say, okay, that's it. I need no other argument. I walk in with this formula and start to work with it. So my brother and sister saying all of this to be the confidence. And hey, joke, I get more and more confident. More and more confident because I'm now working with something that works. It's not if I but when people go in there and pray to God on the outside and call on Jesus, if the thing doesn't happen, you know what I say? Well, it wasn't the will of God. No, it's always the will of God. Because that what you desire already desire you. That's why you did desire it in the first place. What you desire you. So my sisters, the thing is so sweet. I don't want to stop, but I have to stop. Let me read these red comments here. You have to train your subconscious mind, man. You have to train your subconscious mind. You know how much years they train in school? To just come out to go look for a job. And your teachers who teach you in school, they're not millionaires, they're not multi-millionaires. So how they will be preparing you for the wall? How would they be prepared? How could they be preparing you for success in the world when they're not millionaires and multi-millionaires? They're only doing a job and they're getting paid for the job. These things is just to bring understanding and to bring clarity to you. It's not to say that a person shouldn't become a teacher. It's not to say that. It's just to show you the reality of everything that we normally face and how you can't just think one way. You have to think both ways. You go to school, they're telling you they're teaching you accounts. But the teacher is not an accountant. The teacher never worked as an accountant. That's why, my brother, my sister, you have to train your subconscious mind, man. If you are getting rich, train your subconscious mind. You change your subconscious mind, life will begin to change. Somebody say, bless brother. Somebody say, Captain Kojo. Greetings to you, my brother. Somebody say, my guru, the only one. Someone says here, how subconscious mind can be me. Get rid of people and find my husband like I want. Now, if you know the kind of husband you want, each night that you lie down with the husband that you want. You sleep with the husband that you want. You wake with the husband that you want. Yet it's you alone lying down. That you living from the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind don't know the difference. After time, you end up with the exact husband you want. But hey, let me tell you this. You have to be definite about exactly who you want, you know. You have to break everything down to detail, you know. Because you could get a husband or somebody who you want with certain qualities, but you miss out certain other things that I didn't mention, you know. You have to do what you want. You have to go to detail with what you want, okay? I remember a young lady used to follow me and this teaching, and she wanted $100,000. She wanted us to manifest $100,000, but she didn't condition it. And within 4 days, she manifested $100,000, but was men who came to her offering her a contract of $100,000 for her first job as a porn star. And she refused it because she didn't condition it. She didn't say how she really wanted to earn this $100 with integrity and all of this kind of thing. You just say 100, say come anyhow. Don't just say you want a Rolls Royce or you want a Lamborghini, or you want a Porsche, or you want whatever it is. Okay? Don't just say you want that. Don't just say you want a home. You have to define it. You have to know what rooms you want in the home. You want to know if you want a swimming pool in your home. You want to know if you want a gym in your home. You have to know if you want a library. You have to know all the different things you want in your home. If you want a private theater, all of these things. And you go there to that home in spirit and live there before you live there in flesh. The same thing with the vehicle. If you just say you want a Mercedes, you don't say which year it is, you don't say which color it is, you ain't define down to the rims and all of these different things you want to have and all of that. You're never going to the interior of it. It is very important that they visualize the interior because you have to sit on the inside. So while you sit on the inside, you have to be able to see the interior. While you drive in, you're supposed to be able to see the interior. So you have to be very, very detailed. Okay? Someone say, you are God. Yes, we are. BlackMadGuru is the truest. Someone say again, BlackMadGuru help me see my inner God. Okay? For you to see your inner God, it's for you to take action towards the things that you desire. knowing that they have already been done. And then, when you have the experience of it in this physical three-dimensional world, you would know that you're actually operating in your God self. You will be doing the work of God. Somebody say your energy, our inner God is the energy. Yeah. The energy. It's the inner God, the energy. Because that's why you have to transmute. It's all alchemy. Okay? You have to transmute it. Somebody say, all is mine. Mine is infinite. I am. Yes. Everything is mental. Everything is psychological. Everything has to first be a thought. It has to first be an idea. It has to be first be imagined. Anytime you realize that all is mine, how could you continue to worship an idol like Jesus, white Jesus? And when I say Jesus, I always say white Jesus, Caucasian Jesus, Jewish Jesus. My Savior have to look just like me. So I look in the mirror and I see what I see, okay? If there is a place where they have been trapped, their soul, isn't that hell? Can they be free? Yes, they can be free from hell. Because, for example, with my experience, okay, and me coming here and teaching what I am teaching and sharing the experience, that is me freeing people. I am actually freeing people from hell. But if I didn't have no inner experience, I'm not freeing from hell. I might free you from your financial problems, which many other YouTubers does. They could talk about manifestation, talk about help you, financially speaking, but spiritually speaking, they're not really helping you. Spiritually speaking, as a melanated person. For someone to help you spiritually as a melanated person, they have to break the spell. They have to break the curse. Our people have been put under spell through colonialism. And that's a fact. Through religious interpretations that pass down from generation to generation to generation, if you understand epigenetics. So you have to be able to break it in the spiritual world, in the subconscious world. There's where it starts and there's where it have to end. So that's why they tell you you must practice channeling, because they don't want you to be able to channel LNG White and take back your damn power. They don't want you to channel all of these white founders of these denominations. But those of you who listen to me, let us set out one by one to find them. So you have to know which one you've been locked up in. Desire to find them. You will hear the preaching and the teaching. The voice is still here in a realm. If you can hear them, you go find them. Your ancestors will help you to go beyond them because you was before them. That's the truth. My song boastful or something like that, but it's the truth. It's just how I feel passionate about what I'm saying because I know it's to be so true. Okay? So, soul freedom is more important than economic freedom, because you see, when you get soul freedom, you get economic freedom. But if you get economic freedom, that doesn't mean you get soul freedom. That's why they just offer you certain gifts, and gifts just blind you. You come on the internet, they will give you certain offer, as long as you don't say certain things. But I'm not falling for that. Let me read this comment. Just a general question. Just wondering, since there is no God without, Satan without, what about the guys in Mechanic Lodge? They worship the devil through skull and bones and reject Jesus. No, for you to say what you're saying there, you have to be a part. Outside of that, you're a false witness. You know something I realize? I've heard many preachers preach against Buddha. They preach against Allah. They preach against all the other religions, and they tell you the only religion that is correct is their religion. And you know, I come to find out That is a lie. If you ask a preacher, for example, in the Christian religion, the apostle say, "Oh, the Lord tell me to tell you." But nobody never really question the person and say, when you say the Lord tell you, did the Lord speak to you in an audible voice or inaudible voice? Because if you ask them the question, they have to answer. Did God speak to you in an audible voice or inaudible voice? If they say it's not an audible voice, it's an inaudible voice, then they talk about the voice that is within themselves. So it's the intuition they're calling God. All these preachers calling their intuition God, but they're not telling you it's the intuition they're calling God, you know. So when they say the Bible is God's words, how the Bible came about, man wrote as they were inspired, that's what they will tell you. So how I can write something if I've been inspired and I ain't using my mind? It must have to be my mind. So all along, they're calling their intuition God, but they don't want you to know that they're referring to their intuition as God. Every preacher on this planet calling himself God, but he ain't gonna tell you he calling himself God. Because he tell you that the book you read from is the word of God. So how he gonna interpret the word of God if he ain't God? So speaking about men in lodge and how did it go reject Jesus, right? You realize the people in lodges is who control and just be running all of these credit unions and these corporations, they depend on the board and all of these things. And these same Christian or religious people just make this kind of statement. They just go and borrow from the bank, they just go and borrow from the credit union and so on. So basically, right, these large men actually control these people because they control the wall and the wealth of the wall in every part of the wall. Okay? And these religious people are the borrowers and they're not the lenders. So the large people are the lenders. They own all of these different businesses that these same church people going and shop. These people who talking this kind of thing like with this man, the statement he making. If you truly awaken, you wouldn't believe, okay, that the people in large are doing something evil. No. They understand something you don't understand. So if you don't understand metaphysics and they understand metaphysics, you don't think it is evil. If they understand alchemy, you do not understand alchemy, well, you're going to think it is evil. If they understand how the mind works and you do not understand how the mind works, you're going to think it is evil. If they do certain rituals as a language of symbology, and you do not know anything about the language of symbology, of course you think it is evil. If I know you do not understand symbology, I could do any kind of thing. And you say, boy, he just worship the devil. He just do this, he just do that. Because you do not understand the language of symbology. So a person could take a piece of stick and make an idol and put the idol on it and bow down to the idol and trick you, not knowing that he put the idol in your mind. So people who the Catholics, when they genuflect and do all of these things to things that is on piece of wood, the other religious people who are actually the children from the Catholic Church, okay, they're gonna say how they worshiping idol and they're not worshiping idol, but Jesus is the idol that planted in their mind. Because everything is mental. So somebody say Jesus is a hoax, which is true. It never exists. So you can't prove to me that he did exist, okay? And I can't prove to you that he didn't exist because you can't prove something that didn't exist. Never exists. The answer I can prove to you now is me doing the same works. So I wrote a book called How to Turn Water into Wine, and then I could teach you how to turn water into wine using the language of symbology. I could teach you how to multiply bread and fish and feed thousands by teaching you the language of symbology. I could teach you the secret of the serpent in the garden, okay? And you would start to live and exercise your God power because I understand it a certain way, and it is a way that will give you result. So it doesn't take any argument. Okay? Somebody say Christ consciousness is the key. Ye are gods, you are the prophet. Of course. You are the one you've been looking for all your life. You are the millionaire that you do not know that you are. You are the billionaire that you do not know that you are. You have the bank account that you do not know that you have. That's why I'm teaching these things. That's why you have to educate your subconscious mind. How do you educate your subconscious mind with the feeling? You have to generate certain feelings. Somebody say, read Bible in your likeness, as BlackMadGuru say in his book. Yeah. See God in your image and your likeness. And the only way you can see God in your image and in your likeness, you see God as your I amness. That's the only how. Somebody say, greeting BlackMadGuru. Each lecture is powerful and personal. Gratitude is a discussion that I was having a few days ago. Yeah, gratitude is very, very, very powerful and very important. Okay. I could do a whole teaching on that. Okay. Somebody say our people are prone to extending gratitude to anyone who is different. Asking why should they make you? Asking why should they make you rich? Okay. Now, when it comes to being rich, okay, many people think if they have a lot of money, that they mean that they're rich. But when you understand that when you find true riches, money is a result of you finding your true riches. Money is a result of you finding true riches. I'm telling you, you have to find the riches within yourself. And to find the riches within yourself, you can't have the same belief system. You have to rearrange your mind. Okay? If you're coming from a place of lack and scarcity, a place of poverty. That's why a while ago when I tell people, text to me right here or comment to me how much you make in a year. They didn't do it when they should have done it. Because how much you make in a year, if you ask me to triple it or double it, I can do that on your behalf. And it definitely will come to you. Okay? It will definitely come to you. I know what I'm working with, and it just keep getting more and more powerful. It getting more and more stronger. I realize more I believe in myself. The more I trust the power in myself, and so on. Okay? And money is a result of it. It is as a result of it. Because it was before money. It come before money. And so I would encourage you to get my book called Your Mood is Your Fortune. Your mood is your fortune. Every morning when I wake, I cultivate a mood. All throughout the day, I cultivate a mood. Every time I go into bed to sleep, I cultivate a mood and I live in the mood. I ain't changing the mood because I know I used to live in a mood before. I used to live in a poverty mood. I used to live in a scarcity mood. I used to live in a lack mood. I used to live in a religious mood. I used to live in a superstitious mood. I know, and I know the result you just get. Nobody can fool me. Somebody say charity begins at home, but our charity is always extended elsewhere. I am happy to have introduced your teachings to many. That's one form of gratitude. Yes. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Thank you very much for doing that, and I definitely appreciate that. Okay, and I can challenge anyone who's listening to me. As long as you do what I tell you to do, success is yours. Riches is yours. It is impossible for you to do these things and be consistent. Okay, and they don't work in your life. It's just that you have to be patient. As I tell you, it take me 3 to 4 years before big significant things started to happen. Small thing was happening. Don't miss the small little things. I never stop. And it just keep getting better and better and better and better and better and better. I remember I say, I gonna change me yearly. How much money, me yearly income. I started to go back to when I used to work by the post office and see how much I used to make yearly. I said, I'm gonna change that to monthly. And to be honest with you, what I used to earn yearly while working in the post office, just about a week or two ago, I make more than that in a week. The amount I used to work for in a whole freaking year while working in the post office, I make that in 1 week. As a matter of fact, if my memory serves me real good, it's less than a week. Less than a week. Someone say peace to you and peace to everyone here. Someone says amazing. Amazing because what they do, they speak negatively about it to deter us from doing the same as power derives from it. Yeah, they always been doing that. That's why they misinterpret the Bible to us. The Bible have been misinterpreted to us. I'm not speaking against the Bible. The Bible has a lot of knowledge in it if you understand it the right way. If you understand the metaphysical knowledge that is in it. If you understand the esoteric knowledge that is in it. If you understand psychology, and if you know how to use reverse psychology, if you understand the power of your mind, if you understand your own divinity and these things, you would definitely come to realize that Jesus is a hoax. I know he's a hoax. Okay, someone else say hi. Someone say speaking truth. Someone say enlightened warrior, cosmic being. Give thanks, and that's exactly who each and every one of us are. Okay, and someone says it's level of consciousness. Yeah, because there are different levels. Because there was a time when all I was teaching is basically reprogramming the subconscious mind to get people away from the religious and superstitious belief. And then there comes a time now, it's about manifesting the ideal life, living a rich life. You understand? And I'm doing that as I am experiencing that in my life. So I'm teaching what I am. I'm not teaching now what I wish. There was one time in my life I was wishing that would be, but now it is. That is why I'm telling you, if you're going to wish, your wish is the command to your genie, but your genie is now. Your wish is now. It's already a hard and objective fact. You're the God of your circumstances. You're the Lord and Master of your circumstances. That's why your circumstances shouldn't be no Lord and Master over you. Money is an effect, not the cause. You are the cause of money. That's why you're not supposed to be the servant of money. Money is your servant. When you make money your servant, it is because wisdom is following you wherever you go and wherever wisdom goes. Money have to follow wisdom. Wisdom don't follow money. Money follow wisdom. Money is the servant of wisdom. That's why they tell you, Solomon, son man, the enlightened man, he will seek for wisdom. Then wealth and riches must come. The golden age must come. All these other things must come when you seek wisdom first. What wisdom are you seeking? It must be the knowledge of who you are, the knowledge of self. Who am I? Why am I here? What work must I do? Where is my creativity? How must I use my creativity? So my brother, my sister, I can go on and on and on, but it's approaching 2 hours, just 1 more minute before 2 hours, and I'm definitely going to close it. I really want to thank you all very much. I want to encourage you to get the book, Meditate to Eradicate Poverty, from me. I can get Your Mood is Your Fortune. You can get a book, or you can get Spiritual Recipe for Better Living. If you want to deprogram yourself from the teachings of Jesus, I would definitely encourage you to get these other 2 books from me. Can't be proven wrong. by any Christian. You get a book, and The Secret Vagina, Mystery of the Virgin Birth. Bro, when I open up the real virgin birth for you and show you through my own experience, and then you start to understand, a millionaire is giving birth to his brainchild of whatever it is. You realize Henry Ford was giving birth to his brainchild. You realize when you see a Nissan, when you see a Honda, when you see a Toyota, when you see well, when you see those things, right, it's the name or the energy of these people. Okay, they gave birth to their brainchild. And when you hold the cell phone, you think about Alexander Graham Bell or whoever these inventors are, because most of the time when you have black melanated inventors, they don't ever make it known to us. They never tell you the whole blueprint that the internet come from us. They never tell you the man who bring healing for smallpox and all of these things come from us. They wouldn't tell you the things that came from us. It's all about them. Okay? So my brother, it's very important for you to educate yourself. How are you going to educate yourself? Educate your subconscious mind. That's the message. Don't miss that. Educate your subconscious mind. How are you going to educate your subconscious mind? Penetrate. Penetrate your subconscious mind. How do you penetrate your subconscious mind? Create the mood. Live in the mood. Millionaire carry a mood. Multi-millionaire carry a mood. They carry a mood. Bro, just think about you right now. Having $100,000 in your bank book and you never had it before. I'm just using that as an example. There's a mood. If there's a mood that goes with it. Let me say this. If you catch this, just go ahead. If a physical fact can create a psychological state, then a psychological state can create a physical fact. So let me just say back with what I was talking about. If you have $100, if you have $100,000 in your bank book right now, and you never had it before, I will give you a psychological feeling. Then it's proving exactly what I'm saying to you. If a physical fact can create a psychological state, then a psychological state can create a physical fact. And I'm teaching you how to create a psychological state to give you a physical fact. And when you prove it, send me a portion, man. Send me a portion. I just feel, let me tell you something, right? It doesn't matter how much money I have. I will always feel good when people are donating to my work. Because tell me that they are living in success and they found the principle of giving. I don't brag and boast about my giving, and I would never brag and boast about giving. I'm doing things that nobody in my country does ever do. Can I understand the principle of giving? I understand the principle of giving. When you're giving, I have to ring a bell. When you see certain people who call themselves a celebrity going in Africa and they're doing this and that, I understand the principle of giving. But I don't want to always be giving you a fish, teach you how to fish. And that's the big difference. That's why they always have a kind of non-profit and this and that, and say they're going to feed Africa, they're going to do this, when Africa could feed everybody. Because gifts does blind you. Charity does blind. You know, charity does keep in poverty. Yes. They are giving you a fish, but they never want to teach you how to fish. Those who set up all the religious denominations, they always want to give black people a fish, but they don't want to teach black people to fish. Those who burn down our Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, because they always want to give you a fish, but they don't want to teach you how to fish. Those who will be prejudiced against you because the skin of your color, because the color of your skin. It's because they want to give you a fish, but they don't want you to learn how to fish. I'm teaching you how to fish. You've been throwing the net on the wrong side. They have you throwing the net on the wrong side. You're thinking in the wrong way. You're thinking in a negative way. You're thinking backwards. You're thinking in terms of lack and scarcity, you don't know. That is happening through your religious beliefs. Mental slavery, equivalent to economic slavery. And the best way to do it to melanated people through secular Christianity. Secular Christianity. That's why secular Christianity always back charity. So they want you to all be dependent upon them, and you don't depend on yourself. Somebody say enlighten, someone say, okay, it's level of, okay. Somebody say feeling is the secret. Yeah, and they want you to believe that when they talk about feeling is secret, is Neville Goddard. They want you to make you believe that Neville Goddard come up with a bunch of things. They want you to believe that Joseph Murphy came up with a bunch of things. No, these things was here from a long time. You see, some people never read books that was written in 18 something. And 1887, 1886, 1884 are all back there. A lot of people never read those kind of books. So they get most recent books and they don't realize that these people are just regurgitating things from other people. That's why Wayne Dyer make millions and millions. Because people do not know what Wayne Dyer was really regurgitating back. All of these different men that they show you and tell you, oh, they're spiritual men and this and that, regurgitating from back before. Rhonda Bones read The Signs Are Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles and come up with The Secret and so on. But it's things they go chase back, you're going back all the way to ancient Egypt and you're ending up back with our DNA. It's downloading us. That's why they can't just trap you in the physical realm alone. They'll just trap you in the spiritual realm. That's why they don't care how much money you make. You see, they give them a movie contract all thing. Even though they're calling them monkey, like what they call Martin Lawrence Monkey. I think it's Blue Streak, that movie, didn't name? With Eric Roberts. I put it on the back, we'll leave just now. Okay. Calling him Monkey, right? And you'll use your locks like Samson, and they're making fun of you. So only in the entertainment arena and this and that, they want to have you shining and so on and all of that. And they share any amount of money with you, as long as you don't find your spirituality, your spiritual self. That's why I'll be speaking the way I'll be speaking. I have nothing against all them other melanated people on the internet with teaching. I have nothing against them. They can teach you to be prosperous. But when it comes to freeing your soul from the chop, that's what I'm talking about, because many of them, they never had that kind of experience. Someone says, I think that religion is finding its way to corrupt spirituality. Yes, these days. Yes, that's what they're doing. Thank you very much. That's exactly what they're doing. I can see it. Especially since they have AI and all of these faceless videos and things that they're doing with Jesus and all of this kind of thing, and try to you are put it in manifestation. Like there's a channel, let's see what they talk about, don't pray. You must meditate. And all the religious Christians are now coming back and say, quoting scriptures that say to pray. They're trying to put old wine with new wine. They're trying to they put old wine skin with new wine skin. But it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. Because what happened? The time is up. The time is up. The time is up. Okay? So my brother, my sisters, all of these founders of all of these denominations, we have to find their spirit and the energy. Okay, and when you do find them, you'll find them in a realm. There's a realm you find them. They still did it. That's why they still rule and reign over the people. That's why Ellen G. White still rule and reign in the minds of people in my country and around the world. They could break the spell. Okay, they could break the damn spell. Somebody say, like, people are doing some things that they call spirituality, but it has the same energy as religion. Yes! They've been doing it big time. I see it big time. Now I tell you, don't follow the golden one. I don't even want to call the name. That's why I see them white boy. I interview some of them. Because that's what they're doing. They watch me. That's why these people will never deny their Jesus concept and what they say, because it's the self they would deny, their image and their likeness they would deny. Just now they don't take Jesus and put Jesus with the Stoic too. All the Stoic teaching and this and that. That's why they always tell you about Epictetus and all this, and they portray them as well. Like them. Everything great. Every great philosopher, every great this is them. Nobody else. Man, if people ain't wake up, man. Same energy as religion they're pushing. And they try to use spirituality. And if you, that's why when I now come on the internet, they want was to pull me into their circles. That's why they wanted to pull me in their circle. When you see a black brother just teaching about manifesting alone, and he never teach nothing else. But manifesting is just money. Basically, they say they offer you. All they could offer you is the material, temporal things here. That's all they could offer you. How they could be real? That's all they could offer you. You have a yacht, you're going to die, leave the yacht. You have a private jet, you're going to die, leave the private jet. You have money like Will Smith, but your man horn in you. Your man horn in you. And I could go on and on and on. Are they pulling you into court every Monday morning? PDD, you have to go court. You pay back the money to the lawyers, the this, the that. You have money, but you can't help your own people with the freaking money. But you have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And you have experience, you share it with your people. You empower your people. So that they don't go begging. Because if you're teaching on the internet from a mindset of a beggar, you're creating more beggars. If you're teaching from the mindset of a compromiser, you're creating more compromisers, just like your damn self. So they're using the energy of religion in spirituality to capture our people, okay? To keep them in the same cycle. I'm the only one who telling you have to go in the gym wall and break all of these courses from and get the name of all of these founders of this denomination. If you listen to me, you have a family, a friend who chop in Jehovah's Witness, or who chop in Adventist, or who chop in any one of these denominational religion, just go and research and find the founder. And find the founder to be a white man or a white woman. I have the desire for your ancestors to help you to carry into the real world, the subconscious world, to break things from the subconscious realm. Because there's where they have you chopped, in the spirit realm. Somebody say, BlackMadGuru, do you think of vegetarianism? They are calling eating meat dead, and it isn't completely wrong, but there is nothing but life, and extremism isn't aligned to nature. But what do you think? I think everything should be done in moderation. I think that something is bad for your digestive system if you think it is bad. Okay? For example, I think pork is bad for my digestive system because whatever parasites or whatever is in it, doesn't matter how much you boil it, all of those bacteria gonna come back in your stomach. Okay? So I actually believe that. So I wouldn't eat pork. Okay? But because I believe so much in being balanced, there's time when I would eat fish, and there was time when I don't feel like eat fish, I don't eat fish. Okay? There are times I might feel like eat some chicken breast. Okay? And then there are times I don't feel like eat it. There are times I might go and if I use something like say beef, it is grass fed. Everything in my country is natural. Fish is not, it is saltwater fish. All the fishes in my country is saltwater fish. Okay? All the animal meat is grass fed. All. Okay? The only thing that is not original is egg. Egg is not original because it doesn't come from the yard fowl chicken that we have. That used to be the egg we used to eat, but since they started to bring these import those chicken and so on and feed them, it's different. But my country down here, when you live more in the tropics, most of the things you get to eat is more natural, more closer to nature. Okay, so I don't take no extreme. Okay, but I will say this. If you have any underlying situation going on with you, with your health, and you could get rid of the meat out of your diet, it can help for your food to be absorbed and digest easier and so on and keep less strain on your digestive system. Okay? And on your nervous system. So everything has its good, its pro and its con, but everything must be done in moderation. Okay? There are times I could go a week or two, or even a month with no meat. And another time again, I go and my diet just a fish alone. You understand? I just keep mixing things up, mixing things up. Okay? But what I can say is that when you're on a meatless diet, to me, you just get more vivid dreams. To me, you get more vivid dreams, and you just get even better sleep. Okay, even when I'm not using any meat at all, no like meat except for fish. Okay, sleep could be better and all of these different things. Okay, different experience. But I'm not going to no extreme. I encourage anyone to go to any extreme. Somebody was saying, call the name, please. Nah, you have to leave people to live, and do their thing. Okay, you have to check and you will see all around and what's going on there, or at least give a hint. I mean, I give a hint. Most of the time, I tell you, when you see a melanated they pause on teaching spirituality, and they've been interviewed mostly by white men and things with channels and things that is big, and we give them more exposure and do all of this thing. Come on, they have to have something to compromise. Because when it comes to these people being honest and true, you have to understand that is not in their makeup or their DNA. And that's how they have to be. And you can't vex them for being that. And that's why you can't be angry and have hatred towards them. Okay? You understand? That's why I tell people I have no hatred towards no one based on no race or the skin color, anything like that. No. I just know that there's definitely a lot of polarity. I know that people have different nature. You understand what I'm saying? I just know that. I just know there's a difference to people who have a lot of melanin and people who don't have much melanin. You understand what I'm saying? And that's how it will always be. You can't change them and don't try to change them. And you can't change you and don't try to change me. But the problem is they always want to change us. They always be the missionary who going out to try to save us. They always create an impression that they're trying to save us. So they're trying to save us from hunger in Africa. They're trying to save us from poverty in Africa, in the Caribbean, all around. And we do a set of systems to make you believe that they're trying to save you, when they just want to keep you in the same situation over and over and over again. I'm saying to you, you have to break the curse. You have to break the spell. Okay? So let me thank each and everyone for tuning in. And I want to encourage you to support my work, get my books. Okay? If you want to support my PayPal, you can support me by way of PayPal, whichever way you choose to support this work. Okay? And you also would be supported because you're working with a principle. You see, a lot of people would have given tithes, offering, and all of these things to churches, and they never get any results. They would have been given to people who was on the internet, whether is it Omar Johnson, whether is it a young Pharaoh, whoever it was, and all of that. Okay, and they never really get back result in their life. But I can guarantee you, 100%. Because of how I was trained and sent to do this work, I can guarantee you that if you are part of this work, the intelligence and the blessings of the ancestors that is upon me will definitely be upon you. I can guarantee you that the law of reproduction is that every seed and every species must reproduce after its own kind. And I know what I am reproducing. I know what was my experience. I know the wisdom that has come to me. And I'm telling you, you cannot go wrong. You can never go wrong. I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I am so glad that I've never been the kind of person to chase money. I've never been the kind of person who to chase after popularity. I've never been that kind of person. And that is why I give my heart and soul for melanated people wherever they are in the world, because I know as a melanated man, I was miseducated. The Negro man has been miseducated, and somebody have to stand. Doesn't matter what it costs. Okay, even if it costs them the death, somebody have to stand up on behalf of melanated people and speak the truth to them, whether they accept or they reject it. Somebody have to come out and speak the truth that Jesus is a curse in black people's life. That's the devil in their life. Somebody have to stand up and speak the truth that Jesus is a hoax, is a lie. Somebody have to stand up and tell you the truth that there has never been any historical Jesus. There have never been any man who walk on the water or turn water into wine. It has never been. Somebody have to speak the truth. Okay? Somebody say, what if your calling may require popularity? The law never, okay? No, the law never fails, okay? It's always the truth. Everything you see and you can behold is by law. Everything is governed by law. And the person say, what if your calling may require popularity? Yeah, popularity from a standpoint that people are blessed and healed, okay, and they are becoming whole. You can't become whole by just earning more money. You have to become whole by understanding that you're physical, you're psychological, and you're spiritual. And you've been trapped in a spiritual wall, going wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong. And it have to be broken. Okay? That is very important. Okay, so if I become popular for helping black people all around the world to find the best version of themselves and breaking generational curse, getting rid of religion out of their life completely, getting rid of the Jesus mentality and all of that, I'll do it. Okay? Somebody say authenticity, gratitude. Someone says here, like if you help people on social media and you become popular, yeah, I don't mind being known for helping people. Okay, I'm talking about popularity that is digging a deeper hole for melanated people, because that popularity didn't come the way it's supposed to be done. Okay, because as I tell you, as a melanated person, they have eyes out for those of you who come on the internet who they could cut a contract with. They are always looking to cut a contract with you. Okay? Someone say it's all an illusion. They know that belief creates reality. So Jesus is the facade. Yeah, that's exactly what they use. So, my brother and my sisters, I really want to come to a close. I'm just going to keep walking until when I reach a little bit closer to my vehicle back over the side. But I just want to keep talking to you a little bit. Okay? Because, to be honest with you, this means a lot to me. Okay? And people sending me testimonials and things what really mean a lot to me. Okay? People finding themselves in a financial state. Okay? They have more than enough. That they're not afraid to sow into this walk. Okay? Because they don't have the right concept about money. They have the concept about how money really works. They have the concept about how the subconscious really works. And you know, they're showing their gratitude from many different angles. Because I mean, I have to be real with you, okay? The reason why so many of these men like Wayne Dyer and all of these other people, the reason why they're able to generate so much money, and the reason why, for example, you find a Caucasian man or a Caucasian woman will have so much support, so much people giving to them, so much people going and buy their books, so much people going to their seminars and doing these things. Because why? They have money to generate into what they are doing. But even though our people have money, many of our people would rather go and buy a Jordan, and they will pay a bunch of money for the Jordans, not knowing that they're just using Jordan name to make billions out of the ignorance of the followers. Just like I remember the time I saw this guy named Ronnie Coleman. Okay, he won Mr. Olympia about 8 times. He mother raised him to be religious and superstitious and believing in Jesus. And he destroyed his own body, lifting weights and doing the service of Joe Weider and them and so on, right? And you have this supplement company called I think Ronnie Coleman Signature Series or something like that. Yeah. And they give a tour of the company, and that is not his company. They just using he. And even the blind could see they just using he. And that's what's been going on. And we continue to go on until people start to really wake up and realize how much important it is for them to basically educate the subconscious mind. Okay? And to know there's no such a thing as lie and truth, as the way how they were taught by their parents and so on. Okay? Because the Bible tells you that you have to believe the Bible as a book of lies. If you believe the Bible as a book of faith, it means you have to believe it as a book of lie. Because faith is you believing in what you can't see. Okay? And if you believe in what you can't see, you have to understand and accept that a lie is the opposite of the truth. So if a lie is the opposite of the truth, you have to tell yourself a lie until it becomes true. But people tell themselves such a lie about Jesus for so long that they believe it's true. It's so much that they get dreams and all of these kind of things. Okay? But I'm telling you, when you believe that you have millions of dollars and you only have a couple $1,000 in the bank, but you believe you have millions and millions and millions of dollars, and you believe you can live in Beverly Hills, and you believe you can own this house, and you believe you can live in this neighborhood and that neighborhood, and you believe you could own lands in different, you know, parts of America. You can have businesses in different states of America and all of that, and you believe that because of this knowledge of self and all of that, and you can't even believe it. When you are believing it, it seems to you that it was a lie, but it's not a lie. It's the truth. Because that desire is like a wave. And when you start to act according to your desire, it starts to become a particle. But you're not seeing the particle until it becomes this hardened objective fact that you can see, taste, touch, and smell. It's the same principle of when you sow the seed. You not seeing it when it's growing, when it's under the earth. But when it hit the surface, okay, then you start to know, well, yeah, this is it. Somebody said life is mental. It's all within our perception. Okay, nothing is off. Limit everything is possible. So, my brother, my sisters, before I come to close, let me say this, okay? Many people on the internet could tell you all is mind, life is mental, they could tell you all of that. If it is so, start to live it. Okay? It means that your income in life is mental too. And it's a result of your mind. When I discovered that, I changed my life and it keep changing and changing and changing. And you could do the same. Okay? So before I come to a close here, let me encourage you to train your subconscious mind to be a multi-millionaire or a billionaire. Okay? If you're much younger than me, okay, you could become a billionaire. Okay? Even if you're my age, you could still become a billionaire. Okay? And like for example, I was thinking about the amount of people's life that I influence. Okay? Would mean the amount of millions or billions. If I think it in terms of $100 billion, okay, is not impossible. Because if you look at certain people's work, for example, Napoleon Hill, he gone so long, let the book still selling. You telling me isn't something that he did? That while his work still going on, never gonna the same. So sometimes people say, oh, they desire a specific one, they desire this. Man, I desire my work to live from generation to generation to generation. I desire my work to go to 1,000 generation or more. That's how you have to think. Our desire that you never be forgotten, that you always be remembered. You immortalize yourself. When Colonel Sanders put himself on the Kentucky box, we think he immortalized himself. When Henry Ford put Ford on the vehicle, he immortalized himself. As long as there's a living, growing civilization, these people will be remembered. So you have to know what you want, okay? So my brother, my sister, before I leave you, let me say again to you, thanks everyone for tuning in. It's always been a pleasure, and let us continue to be the best version of ourselves and live our life as gods on this planet. God's don't beg. Okay, God just create. God just implement. God just improvise. Okay? Somebody says here, I have been impressed in my subconscious mind of owning 40,000 GHC. I wonder what is the GHC. But it keep doubting. Please help. What is GHC? I don't know. What money is that? Okay. And you can be impressed in your subconscious mind with doubt and accept the thing to happen to you. Because you say, but it keep doubting. Okay, please help. It is because you still carry doubt. You can desire something that you already have. If you already have it, you can't desire it. You already have it. So see yourself doing the things you would do with it. So if you have 40,000, okay, I don't know where the GHCB, right? I don't know if it's Ghanaian money or whatever. Okay, I don't know. Okay, but if you have 40,000, let me use dollars. Okay, okay. Let's say you have 40,000 US dollars. Okay, if you have 40,000 US dollars, what would you see yourself doing? Where would you see yourself, hanging out and all of these different things? These are the kind of things you have to do instead of seeking the money. See yourself already have the money and what you're doing after you have the money. Okay, these are things you have to do in the imagination. Somebody say, if everything came from somewhere, isn't it logical that God created us? It can be logical that God created us when our mother and our father have to come together and have sex. Okay? It means that if God created us, then God have to be the intelligence that gives us that desire, and that desire itself have to be God itself. That's the only how it could be. But nothing different than you could create, because there's nothing higher than life. So anything that's created come from life, and life is a force, and that force is energy. We call it energy. Okay, so whether you say God, dog, Allah, Brahma, Buddha, it doesn't matter what name, is one intelligence. Okay, and that one intelligence creates everything. Okay, and you cannot know that unless you operate that intelligence. So intelligence is you. So there's no God that create me. Okay, no God create me. The divine source or energy, as someone states, the divine source. Okay, is me, and I is that. Okay, so to say God create you is you separating yourself from God. Okay, some people just can't see themselves as God. That's why they can't live like a God. Okay, but if you really fix your subconscious mind in alignment, and have your subconscious mind in alignment, things will just be happening automatically in your life. Just like the sun is in alignment with the planet, and all the trees is in alignment with the sun, and all the animals and everything is in alignment. But you would have gotten out of alignment. That's why, as I come to a close, they give you a SON to believe instead of the SUN. Okay, because sun power is mind power, and mind power is sun power. So if you're not united with the sun, you can't use the sun power. Okay, and when I say you can't use the sun power, you can't use the sun power consciously and deliberately. Okay, so my brother, my sisters, I really, really want to thank you very much for tuning in. I want to just say peace, love you all. Out.